Snippet, snippet, time is here. Time for joy and time for... No, no way. I'm not gonna do it. Howdy gang, and welcome to another Bad Players WoW vlog snippet. Once again, I'm Daniel Gagne, Realtus Killdog, aka Bad Player 03. And today, I'm talking about a very critical question pertaining to my Bad Players lore raid model. And that is, does 10-man regular need two distinct difficulty levels? One obviously being a lower, simpler beer league content and level, and one being a level that's more difficult, perhaps even par with the 25-man regular. My model, of course, my Bad Players lore raid model suggests that that's not necessary, that all Blizzard simply needs to provide for 10-man regular content is a lower tier level of 10-man content that will fill the beer league level. So can we accept the fact that we have 10-man heroic, 25-man regular, and 25-man heroic, which are more difficult, more challenging, and larger scale content, and just let the gap between 10-man regular and 10-man heroic be what it is, because people have other levels of content they can choose to run to supplement that, or what they don't get at a 10-man regular, and let 10-man regular itself be the fun, challenging, difficult, or enough yet easy enough to be beer league content that everybody can run with its own lockout that doesn't interfere with anybody else's rating. So literally every single player in WoW can run this 10-man beer league or whatever content every single week without any restrictions on anything else they choose to do in World of Warcraft, whether they're the best 25-man heroic raider or the lowest LFR raider who just happens to sneak into a 10-man group and they're going to carry them and take them along with them. It's available to every single player every single week. Is this enough? Or does World of Warcraft need to divide that into two distinct levels? And of course, if you believe that it does that then mean that 25-man also needs two distinct levels? And of course, if that does, then that's now 7 different skill levels. Where does it end? Could we then need 9 different levels at some point? Or more? Or at some point does Blizzard say, we got enough skill levels, now we need to just simply have a progression path to guide the player from one level to the next, so they don't feel like they're ever stuck at any point. So now, of course, my Bad Players lore raid model suggests that no, 5 levels is enough. It's plenty, because that 10-man regular level is going to be that level that pretty much gets a vast majority of the player base real rating, not just the LFR, but actually real rating in groups, building camaraderie, skill, dealing with real mechanics, unlike the LFR, and basically some players that will be enough again, just like the LFR. Some people will only run the LFR, but for players who are maybe get to a higher skill level or a higher skill level to begin with, they have other directions to branch out in, namely the 10-man heroic, 25-man regular, which also could be a stepping stone into 10-man heroic or 25-man heroic. So anyways, let's examine this notion of that 10-man being just one simple, easier, lower geared beer league content level, and standing on its own with its own lockout being enough to supplement that basic entry level real rating. So first of all, how many 10-man guilds are there that would ever say, wow, I wish this 10-man regular was more difficult. It was just too easy, we got through it too quickly, and we don't feel there's much else to do at our skill level. I don't know if there's really that many. I think a lot of players who would be at that level would be quite interested in starting to work on heroic as soon as possible and seeing if they could take it to the next level. And once again, those people that just aren't quite good enough or don't quite find that their skill level or gear level is quite there, now, once again, they have the community aspect of the 25-man regular to move on to, where they can join pugs, join with other teams, other guilds on the server to create a 25-man functional 25-man group, which can then take it to the next level, getting better gear, better skills again, so they can move on to heroic levels. I really think this is plenty enough to give World of Warcraft players to keep them entertained from start to finish in a tier. That really there isn't that need for a harder 10-man regular content outside of 10-man heroic, in between that gap, which, as we remember, the gap between 10-man regular and 10-man heroic in the bad players lore model. I think we need to really fill that gap because of the fact that there are just other directions they can go. And of course, looking at Blizzard, is it really within their best interest to have more skill levels to deal with, to maintain, to bring tier after tier after tier to the table when they can simply provide one skill level that almost everybody is doing, or a vast majority of players are doing, and like I said, players who don't find that enough go on to the next levels and take it in a nice stepping stone hopscotch kind of fashion from one difficulty level to the next. Now, I had one player that challenged my model, saying, "No, leave 10-man regular alone. We simply need a lower beer league level that was roughly equivalent to the previous tier's regular." And now, of course, when I think about that, that just seems a little outlandish. And from looking at it from Blizzard's perspective, why would they do that and go to all that trouble when they could simply say, if you want the previous tier's regular level content, run the previous tier. It's easier because you'll have better gear. It's the previous tier, so you can run it cross realm. You can even get into to groups in like Open Raid and that kind of OpenRaid.us and that sort of thing for that purpose. So why would we go to the trouble of creating new content in the old content's image? So once again, that's the extreme case, but that seems a little out there. And really, just to illustrate what the alternative is to my model. When you look at it, yes, you could have an easier level and a more difficult level, like right around here. But once again, that's 2 levels for Blizzard to maintain. How about slowly bridging the gap between them and meet in the middle at one skill level that everybody can enjoy? And like I said, then the stepping stone hopscotch kind of effect. Is this maybe the perfect solution for everybody? For Blizzard, for the World of Warcraft Raider, all the players? I really think it is. And I'd like people to really consider this notion that maybe one skill level at the 10-man level is all we need, and it just needs to be easier. It needs to be more accessible. It needs to be runnable by every single player in the game every single week, so that virtually everybody has no excuses but to raid and to enjoy the content. Even if they find the LFR boring, monotonous, too frustrating, because dealing with 25 random strangers, some which might be absolutely ridiculous players to play with. They've got a level they can group up with the people they want to group up with, and getting the camaraderie between the 10-man groups and the 25-man groups within the servers. Previous tier, you can even do that then cross-server. I think that just that 10 and 25-man divide that I presented in the Bad Players lore model is the absolute perfect solution. And I just like some feedback on what you guys think, if you agree with me, or if you find holes in that, or challenge the notions that I presented. And let's come up with the perfect solution if you don't think mine is. So, anyways, I'm going to wrap up this. This snippet here. Once again, I'm Daniel Gagne, Rialtas Killdog, Bad Player 03. You can get a hold of me on Twitter. I always loves me some Twitter. Once again, it's Bad Player 03, capital B, capital P, under Daniel Gagne. You can view all these wonderful videos, including, and I really encourage you to go back and see my videos outlining the model and then dealing with talking about each individual aspect and why they're so important to my model. They're all there on my YouTube channel under Bad Player 03. And finally, you can send me email for feedback under badplayer03@gmail.com. Once again, capital B, capital P. So anyways, I look forward to seeing you all and hearing what you all have to say from the community. I'm here to serve, and I love to talk about World of Warcraft. So fire them away at me. Bye now.